What up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. I'm here with my guys, the Horsemen, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith, and of course, the one and only NYG Jeffy T, always shining that light down bright upon us. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go!
What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? And welcome to the program. Man, what a great week! What a great year, actually, of football. Um, but we have touching subjects that we want to just start off the program with. Yes, guys, we were going to touch about sports. That's why you guys are here this Friday night. Thank you guys for joining us. But in this country right now, we don't want to do a show without touching on this because I believe this needs to be mentioned. There's no place for gun violence of any kind in this country, and for it to happen to one of a fan that is just trying to celebrate a Super Bowl win, and at a Super Bowl parade is just unforgiving. There's no place for a fully loaded machine gun at an event of this magnitude, and yet alone for it to come down to gang violence is just it's really disturbing and it's really heartbreaking. So first we just wanted to say thoughts and prayers out to Lisa Lopez Galvin. She was a mom, she was a daughter, she um she was a friend. Um, she was a person, a part of the community in Kansas City, and it's just sad to have her lost her life, and she's just trying to celebrate a victory, celebrate her team in a day that was supposed to be her most magical day. You're going, you get to celebrate with your team. They just won the Super Bowl for this stupid act of violence. It's heartbroken, really, and she is the only one that did lose her life, and that's just heartbreaking. But 22 others was injured, and 12 of them was kids, okay, under the age of 12. There's no I'm it's really hard for me to even say something like this, to even begin the program like this, but I'm just gonna pass the mic off to the boys. I know this is a touchy subject. If you guys want to say anything, but we can continue our program. But thoughts and prayers out to Lisa and the family and all of the families and all of the victims. Thoughts and prayers, and we really, really mean that. That's just not me saying that as a cliche. We really prayers do help in these moments, and I'm sending them prayers, my prayers their way. Mac, do you want to touch on this horrendous event?
The thoughtless acts of a couple cowardly children can affect the lives of so many. It's just ridiculous to me. A day that was supposed to be of happiness, celebrating the Kansas City Chiefs' second straight championship. Just all supposed to be all about a great day. I mean, the day for lovers, Valentine's Day, if you want to even throw that. I mean, it was all around the board. Just supposed to be a day of celebration, turns into an absolute massacre of sorts. Yes, like you said, unfortunately, from one standpoint, only one casualty. Unfortunately, this lady right here was a Kansas City Chiefs football like fanatic. She was pretty much at least a local celebrity in the city of Kansas City, hosting a very popular radio show. And she's just out there at the parade. I don't know if she had her children with her or not. Just but out there, I'm sure with friends, whoever else she might have been with, having a great day, enjoying the scene, and then clearly she wasn't one of the targets of the shooters. She clearly wasn't one of the targets. Unfortunately, it doesn't even matter, and it comes down to it doesn't matter who the targets were. It's just like just how senseless and just how random it all is. It makes no sense. Like, what kind of a piece of shit do you have to be to pull out loaded automatic weapons and just open fire into a crowd of thousands of people because you have beef with maybe a couple of people that are out there in that crowd. So now everybody's life is at risk over senselessness, just pettiness. This is all ridiculous, man. You can't even go out and just have a good time anymore. Like this is supposed to be all about a day of just celebration, and apparently the shooting didn't happen very far from where the players were at the moment either. So I mean, they all of them were lucky. Obviously, none of them were injured in any of this. This happened not far away from where we were all at last year at the draft. It wasn't very far from that location in downtown Kansas City. This it's just the violence has to stop, man. This is just absolutely that day. It tore me up. Was I kept getting notification after notification after notification about the increase of victims and whatnot. And like you said, Zion, the fact that it was so many were children, man, kids. I mean, this has to stop, man. It has to stop. This is absolutely just it's heartbreaking that we still live in a world that this is how things have to feel like this is the way things need to be settled. It's just I don't know when's it gonna is it ever gonna end? I'm not sure, man. This is just it's a terrible thing that happened on Wednesday, and definitely my prayers, condolences go out to the family of this young lady. And I don't know if you guys heard. I know I read Taylor Swift donated $100,000 to the family of this young lady, which obviously no amount of money can bring her back, but at least it helps the family, a little bit move on with what they have to do and things they have to do in these upcoming days to lay their loved one to rest. So it's just unfortunate.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Adam.
Well said. And I know someone got mad about the amount of money that Taylor Swift donated. The fact that she donated it all, is just thankful, right? You know what I mean? Like, she didn't have to do that. She went out of her way to do that. So, just we need to stop.
I'm sorry, $100,000 is a lot of money. I don't want to help people think $100,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, and to me and you, to us who've never seen $100,000, we're not sneezing at that, right? But the fact that she did it on a whim, to help these people, hats off to her. That's genuine love. What saddens me is we watch a game every Sunday. We come together as a group of people, fan bases, to cheer on people who get paid to play a game that we all love, that we all dream about playing, that we all had some part in our lives, right? That touch our lives in many different ways. And if your team's never won a Super Bowl in your lifetime or won a championship that you've been a part of, these things don't come around often. And when they do, and you get a chance to go, you should not be looking over your shoulder and worrying about whether or not you're going to come back that day, especially from a parade. Something so magical because it's with your team. You're with people from all walks of life. You're there to celebrate the culmination of the hard work for your team. And I went to the New York Giant parades. And let me tell you, when they won, the one in 2007, I'll never forget, one of the most unforgettable moments of my life and my football life. And you never know. I don't know this Miss Lopez here. I think that's her name. Last name is Lopez. I don't know if this was her first parade. I don't know if she went to the others. You never know. Sometimes, you can't make it, so you watch it on TV and you say, next time I'm going to go if it's here, and it's here, and here it is, and you can't even enjoy that. This should be a moment where this lady is rejoicing, is reminiscing, and getting ready for next football season to three-peat. And that memory is one that, what will the Chiefs do now? Like if they win again, what will parades look like now? Like, don't take the fun out of it because you've got some beef with somebody else. Deal with that on your own time. If that's really what it's about, like if it was really a gang violence and somebody was there, deal with it on your own time. You're not doing anybody any favors, and all you're doing is hurting everybody else, okay, when you do that. This doesn't need to happen. And it's tragic that it does happen, especially at a parade of, where people are, sharing a moment. This was a moment to be shared, and it's going to be a moment to be forgotten. And I don't want that to happen. We need to, understand and do better as people. And thanks to those citizens who jumped in and stopped some of the perpetrators.
Yes.
That's what we need more of. That unquestioned, do the right thing mentality. We don't see it these days. So good for him. And those first responders, as you saw in the videos, those cops are running in, storming in. That's what you need to do. That's how you have to do it. So well done in trying to get everybody to safety. And hats off to that Samaritan who helped get the bad guys in custody. So my hats are off to everybody. My condolences are out to your family. Never forget this lady. I hope they do something in Chiefs next season in her honor. Maybe honor her at the first game. And take a moment of silence for her when they do the banner on Thursday night and they unveil the trophy. Maybe bring her family out in the field presenting the trophy. I don't know, but this is a moment that we all need to look at, and the NFL needs to look at and come together and say, hey, what can we do to better ourselves and better our communities and just make it a more enjoyable experience.
Well said, boys. Well said, boys. And yes, it is hard to continue the show after this kind of loss. So a loss in general, but we must go on, and we will go on. And she will be remembered in the community of Kansas City, like Max said, being a local DJ there and a celebrity in her own right. And I do want to touch on this before we move on. I do want to say, for the next generation, there were juveniles. They were locked up. They were going to be faced as the dorks, because I think that should happen. So good for the courts of Missouri, whoever's handling that. It is down to the family district or whatever is happening there. But that being said, that doesn't make you gangster. That doesn't make you anything bringing out lead. Like this world, this next generation, I'm legit because I got lead. This needs to stop. And It's just horrid, but we must move on, and we are going to talk about the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs beating the San Francisco 49ers, which I personally thought was a really great, amazing Super Bowl to watch. Love the fact that it came down to overtime. I just want to ask the boys, what's your guys' thoughts on the overall game, and where would you guys kind of rate it among all Super Bowls you guys watched in your lifetimes, and just kind of touch on the game itself, what you guys liked about the game, what you guys enjoyed about the game. If you guys want to talk about some maybe movie like Deadpool trailer that you want to talk about, whatever you want to talk about related.
That trailer was fire.
Exactly. Whatever Super Bowl 58 moment or whatever experience you want to talk about, please, the floor is yours. And let's start it up with Adam this time.
Well, I really enjoyed the Super Bowl. I didn't bet against Mahomes this time. And what I'm taking out of it is this. Was it the most exciting Super Bowl? No, but it had its moments. It was you know what I'll say? It was a good football game.
Yes.
Something that you want to see. You got 3 touchdowns by each side. 3 touchdowns. I mean, the score was, kind of 3 touchdowns is what you want. You wanted a close game, a game that was highly contested, that kept you engaged the entire time. And that's what it did. Went back and forth. Defenses came up big. Spagnuolo is going to the Hall of Fame. Let's say that right now.
Yes, I kind of wished he was on the pedestal, but we move on.
Huh?
I kind of wish they would have had him on the pedestal at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
the podium,
listen,
yes, right.
Spag's not a guy that is a crowd
That's
guy.
true.
Okay, he rather be in the background and do the dirty
players,
work.
the
That's
players
who.
moment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's done this 3. He's been to the Super Bowl as long as they've been there. He's been a phenomenal defensive coach. He had a great game plan. I knew when I was picking Kansas City and I looked on the defensive side, I said, Spagnuolo never loses to young quarterbacks. That's just his MO. He just doesn't do it. And that was one of the factors it came down. At first, the 49ers were moving the football up and down the field. Obviously, that fumble by CMC kind of changed a little bit of the momentum. Then, you had Brock Purdy get on a little hot streak. And then it kind of slowed down a bit. And Kansas City kind of got their sea legs about them. They started making plays. Their defense rose to the occasion. Did the 49ers have chances? Yes. Did they score? Yes. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one guy only, and what we all talk about and what I preach and bang on the table. A franchise quarterback. Okay? Brock Purdy had chances to win the game and did not. Mahomes went down and won the game. On 2nd and 14, he's making a big-time throw. You know what I mean? To get that team to a 3rd and 7. On 3rd and 7, he's making a big-time throw to get them downfield. Okay? And we talk about not having Miz likes to stir the pot. It's okay. We talk about having franchise guys and guys elevating people. That's what Mahomes did on that drive. You know, I know we talk about Pacheco. Pacheco didn't have a great game. Mahomes carried the team when need be. At first, and you know what's funny? I said to somebody, the 49ers had a great game plan for Mahomes. They did not let him be, Superman, right? They did not let Mahomes run around and play backyard football, kind of like what Brett Favre used to thrive on. They had this great mush rush where they kind of kept him in the pocket. And you know what Mahomes did? He said, okay, I'll adjust my game to fit the game that you're playing, and I'll play from the pocket. And, when you have that and you can adapt your game and you become the chameleon, this is what we're talking about.
Become the chameleon. I love it.
I mean, just think about it, right? In the game, he was being like Purdy got bottled up in the middle of the second and third quarter. Couldn't really do much offensively. He wasn't making plays. They were getting to him. Mahomes just kept plugging away, and no matter what they did, he took the ball on an option play. Right? He read the defense. He understood the situation, and that's what when you talk about franchise quarterbacks, you're not just talking about on the field play. Ball to receiver. You're talking about the mental acumen to make those right reads, to adjust where it needs to adjust. I know a lot of people are talking about the play where he could have Rice game over, Super Bowl over. Yeah, it happens. Well, guess what? He made up for it on the Super Bowl drive. Right? You're going to make mistakes. Even the great ones do. But it's the great ones in these moments that build their legendary careers, and that's what he did. He, helped out and did a lot of things. And the 49ers, give credit to them. They fought hard. They kept in the game. They could have been blown out, but they kept plugging away. But at the end of the day, the Mahomes effect is what it is. The Mahomes effect is a real thing. And what I mean by that is perfection. When a guy is that good on the other side, it's like when you play Jordan. If you made mistakes, Jordan's team was capitalizing. Okay, that was it. So Mahomes has that effect on people. I've rambled on enough. Mac, I think it's your turn to talk. What were your thoughts?
I mean, my thoughts were, I don't know how you guys, the kind of feedback you guys heard from Super Bowl, but a lot of people were complaining about the first half being so boring and this, that, and the other. I thought it was great. I enjoyed every minute of
I love
the football
defense.
game.
So.
I thought from beginning to end, yeah, exactly. We got 5 great quarters of football in this football game in the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, we ended the season with 5
almost got
great
6
quarters of football. I mean,
quality.
Yeah, damn near got the 6. Absolutely, damn near got the 6 quarters, man. But yeah, this game was great. Like you said, I just love a good defensive battle like that in the first round. It was like a chess match the first half of this football game. Neither offense could truly get it going. I mean, we had a fumble from CMC and a fumble from Pacheco.
2 fumbles.
Just a lot of just uncharacteristic mistakes. Yeah, uncharacteristic mistakes from both of these offenses, man, in this game. And that was a testament to how well these defenses came out and played in this game. Because even in the second half, we got a little more offense.
A bad play in the third quarter.
We got a little bit of more offense. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But then Kansas City came
out
with the ball.
It was still all about the defense here.
Listen,
it was all about the defense in this game, man. And I can appreciate that. I mean, when it came down to, like Adam said, in the overtime in that 5th quarter, Patrick Mahomes, the 49ers went down there and they felt comfortable just taking the settlement for the 3.
Was huge.
Patrick Mahomes answered with the 6, man. Straight up. So,
but see,
and that's just
what Miz says right there is huge, right? That blocked extra point. Those are the mistakes I'm talking about. You got to be perfect. If you make that, that's a different ball game. They can't go down and tie the game now at 16-16 or whatever it was. They have to score a touchdown. Instead, they can play for a field goal, which in this case was advantage Mahomes because he didn't have to do anything. Mahomes played the most efficient game I've seen him play in terms of how he looked. There was a one beautiful dime pass that he threw 50 yards on a rope to I forget who it was. I think it was Hardman down the field. Where he just laid it in there beautifully. But other than that, there weren't that many big plays. It was a demonstration on how you can take over a game offensively as a quarterback position when your run game's not working, your receivers are dropping balls. This is what happens when you have a guy that is that much better than everybody else on the field and that much better than the guy that you have. Because while Purdy did everything he could, there was a few times where he didn't slide the protections over and he missed a couple blocks that needed to happen. If he makes those reads, now I'm not blaming Purdy. He played a solid game for a second-year player, right? Playing in his first season. I give the kid credit. I think he's on his way to being a decent quarterback in this league, already over through 4,000 yards. I don't want to hear about talent, okay? Guys were going down left and right for this team. Brandon Ayuk got shut out in this game, and they found a way to score points. Okay, they did. That's what they did. But I will tell you this, in those crucial quarters, second and third quarter, that's where Brock Purdy struggled because the defense found its way. Mahomes, on the other hand, didn't. He was finding his groove, but taking what the defense gave him. And I just thought it was I don't want to, gloat too much about Mahomes, but I thought it was a brilliant display of adapting your game to a team that was defensively bottling you up. That's all.
I love it. I love it, guys. What I took out of this game is something I already knew, but Mac did a perfect job on letting us know throughout the season that Mahomes is him. Mahomes is him. Yes, I had 49ers winning the game, but I just thought that, first off, Kyle Shanahan did exactly what I thought he was going to do, and shout out to
choke.
Him. He kept Travis Kelce in check, but he didn't adjust in the fourth quarter when it really counted. One thing that I noticed was the turning point in this game is, don't get me wrong, guys, Mahomes would have found a way to win it no matter what, because that's just what he does. He's just him. But they're coming out with speed so fast. And when Greenlaw went down, it just changed. I know Greenlaw is the fastest linebacker in the football, but middle linebacker, that is. But it's something about him and Fred Warner. When him and Fred Warner is on the field at the same time, Mahomes would have, if he played the full game,
I'll tell you where they lost.
He would have found a way to win it. That's just what Mahomes does. But when the 49ers kind of lost Greenlaw off of that non-contact injury, I kind of feel like, what's up, Alex? Thank you for joining us this evening. I kind of feel like that's when, kind of like that, and obviously the fumble. That's when it kind of looked like they just got slow on defense. It's not like they just didn't care, but it's just like they was playing so fast with Greenlaw, and then as soon as Greenlaw goes out, it's like, bro. But regardless, Mahomes would have came back and does what Mahomes did. I do respect, Andy Reid, man, for just calling those kind of plays. When you watch the Chiefs play, and they get penalized, and then they're down, and now it's third and 20, right? And us as Giants fans, we already know we're punting, right? But they just find a way. He just finds a way to get the yardage. He just finds a way. Every single time they're down 3rd and 14, he just finds a way. And he doesn't have the who's who at wide receiver. I would only probably say he has really one legit lineman in Creed Humphreys. You know what I'm saying? His other one is kind of like our other one, just keeps on getting flagged. But at the end of the day, it just goes to show you how good Andy Reid is, and how great Patrick Mahomes is. That call, that Tom and Jerry special, or whatever they called it, to call that kind of call at that position in that type of game. Definitely a great game, and I feel you, Miz. They definitely lost the game in the first half.
I'll tell you when. I have a thing I want to say about two things. First off,
go right ahead.
Kyle Shanahan, screw you for firing Steve Wilkes. Here's why. In the crucial moment in the third quarter, you ran 6 plays, count them, 6 plays, 6 pass plays when you had the lead in a row. It went incomplete and gave the ball right back to Kansas City. That's where you lost the football game, because that was where you needed to jockey for position when Kansas City was down and you were getting nothing but field position, and you threw 6 offensive plays when your running back was actually having a day on the ground. And so that and I do believe that Kansas City scored on those drives going back. I think that's where you lost the football game. In that crucial moment, you decided to do what Kyle Shanahan does best: pass the football in moments where you don't need to pass the football. He did it in the Super Bowl with the friggin' Falcons. He did it in the Super Bowl again when he was with the 49ers, when they lost again. And then he did it again here. He just can't get out of his own way. You brought CMC here for a reason. Turn around and give that man the rock. But then you have the audacity to go out and fire your defensive coordinator, who, by the way, I just said had a good game plan against Mahomes, and you got beat by that dude, and you have the audacity to fire him. You should look at yourself in the mirror, because you were the one who was choking in that game. What you do? How does your team not know the overtime rules? And you want to go and fire your defensive coordinator? Are you out of your mind? Like, your team doesn't know the rules? You're the head coach. And meanwhile, Andy Reid, who's been to every Super Bowl and playoffs known to man, has his team from day one of training camp knowing the damn rules. And you come into a game and you're like, well, we don't know the rules. So what if you didn't know the rules, what are you playing for, a field goal? Because you already know in sudden death, you don't win on a field goal, you win on a touchdown. So those rules would have applied anyways in this game. That's what would have happened. Each team still has a chance to possess the ball. The only difference is if they went down and kicked the field goal, you'd have a chance to match it. However, this time you didn't. They went down and scored a touchdown after your lazy field goal, but we didn't know the rule. Oh, let me go fire the defensive coordinator. Give me a break, okay? Give me a break. Kyle Shanahan, I'm sorry. I know you get praised, and I shouldn't be browbeating you right now, but I thought that was a cold-blooded move to do that to Steve Wilks after all the fucking jobs are taken in the NFL. Right? And you have the audacity to fire this guy when you had hiccup after hiccup after hiccup. How come you aren't firing your special teams coordinator? They made two big gaffes on that play. They had a fucking block punt and a muff field goal, but you're not firing him.
Look,
Well said,
I'll go back
Go
to
ahead,
like
Matt.
what Miz said earlier go back to what Miz was talking about earlier about the first half. The 49ers lost this game. They absolutely did. And it's because, like you said, you get your defense out there. They hold Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense to 3 damn points. 3 points. You basically, essentially dominated the first half in a sense. But you just had so many hiccups offensively that you were only able to muster 10 points and kept the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. At that point, when Usher came out there for the halftime show, shout out to Usher, it was a dope halftime show. In my opinion, I don't care how anybody feels about it.
He did a
it's
pretty good job.
story. Anyway, but
I
knew the Chiefs were going to win this football game. I absolutely knew the Chiefs were going to win this football game because you can't go out there and you can't give Patrick Mahomes that opportunity, that chance, that hope. He's just too damn good. You go back and what Bookend said up here in this comment. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is the number one quarterback in the league, and the second best is it's a distance. That's how much it's that much further above everyone else. He's completely looking down on everyone else. There's no one else on this man's level. You can't give him the opportunity. You had an opportunity to step on their throats in the first half of that football game, and you weren't able to get that done. And just by giving them that glimmer of hope going into the locker room, you can't give that to Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna come out there and do what he got to do. He's championship ready, no matter what. He makes the Chiefs automatic contenders again going into next season, no matter what, no matter who else is on that roster. He makes them contenders because that's how good he is. He gives them automatic credibility no matter what. Andy Reid, Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame coach. I mean, this thing right there, this is a train, man. Who knows when it's gonna start rolling, man. But I'm not gonna be shocked to see this team go back out there and three-peat next season and be the first team to ever do that. Because I just don't see what's stopping them. I don't see.
We
what's
need
stopping
Pat Summerall to be like, there is no three-peat. You know what I mean? Like, so some team's going to come up, maybe like the Bengals or something. Who knows? But this is what makes the season intriguing, right? Mahomes is the guy now. He's the guy you're chasing. You're not necessarily, if you're in the AFC, you're not building your team anymore to beat the AFC East winner or the AFC West winner. Your whole mantra is, how can I beat Mahomes? What can I do? What is the magic formula? The Ravens had it. Right, they shut out the Kansas City Chiefs in the first half. It was a couple turnovers in their end that ended that game for them, because what the Chiefs do, and they put points on the board, and then they pressure you, because again, this is like what happened when Peyton Manning played in 2006. And what happened is, in 2006, if people don't remember that Colts team, they used to score a lot of points. And what happens is, when you score a lot of points, it puts pressure on your team to then go and put points back on them. And if you make a mistake, boom, they're going back down and scoring. Boom, they're going back down and scoring. It's just quick. It's almost like when in basketball, when Dallas Mavericks, when they used to run up and down the floor, they could score from anywhere. You just never, the game was never over, and you always had to be perfect. And so that's what happens when you play a team like, when you play a guy like Mahomes and those teams. And the Ravens had a formula, and again, turnovers is a great equalizer. If the Ravens don't fumble the ball going in, diving with Zay Flowers, maybe the game is tied. Maybe they're in the AFC Championship game, right? Opportunities are far and few between, and when you play a good team, you need to make your opportunities, and you need to be able to punch the door in. And as you can see here, this is where you stand. You're watching a team that people thought were left for dead in the regular season, that they didn't have it anymore, that it was time for them to not necessarily pack it in, but, if they win 8 or 9 games, we're cool. You still have Mahomes, whatever. They didn't. They got into the playoffs, they got locked in, and away they went. And I'm looking at a lot of teams next year. It's great. I'm looking for the Chargers to see how well they do, because that should be a good renewed rivalry. You have 2 good coaches in Harbaugh. Harbaugh's a good coach. Andy Reid's a good coach, right? I'm going to look forward to that rivalry now. You got Antonio Pierce in there, who has the Raiders fired up in that division, and of course Sean Payton's there, and who knows what they're going to do over in Denver. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and this is the whole point and the fun of the off season. Right, as Giant fans, we tend to think the Giants are the only team that gets better in the NFL, and nobody else does nothing. But everybody's on off season. Everybody's headed to the draft. Everybody's doing their thing. And right now, you're building to beat Kansas City. You're building to beat Kansas City, and that starts with finding your guy who's going to be able to elevate your team when need be. That's just the bottom line. If you want to compete, Burrow beat him, and Tom Brady beat him. Those are the only 2 guys that have beaten Mahomes right now in a big moment, in a big spot.
I love the fact that you said that too. And you can look at the San Francisco 49ers. They had the defenses of all defenses, the who's who. You know what I'm saying? All of the money went to the defensive players and defensive sides. Yeah, you have your Deebo Samuels of the world, but just look what the Chiefs was able to do, and look what a really great quarterback is able to do, right? When you think of three-peating, let's touch on that for a little bit. If they end up three-peating, that is just going to be the biggest victory in all of professional sports. Because the way I look at it is, I think of 5 teams right now at the top of my head that's going to be coming for that AFC Championship title. I'm not thinking about the NFC, because you only really got 3 as far as this point, in San Francisco, the Lions, and maybe Dallas. That's all I'm thinking of when it comes down to the top contenders right now in the NFC. But when you look at the AFC, the division that the Chiefs are a part of, right? The conference, should I say. Some people will call me crazy, but I got the Jets, but Aaron Rodgers fired up to get back, all right? I got the Ravens, with a fired up Lamar Jackson and an upset.
The NFL hasn't happened.
I got the Bengals, looking to try to get another one, and a healthy Joe Burrow, I got the Buffalo Bills trying to come in and trying to Josh Allen get his. And then, of course, what you guys mentioned, you got Jim with a loaded Los Angeles Chargers. So when you think of Mahomes going out and three-peating, the playoffs in the AFC alone is going to be hard to get through if all of those teams that I just said makes it. And there's always going to be your outliers. Does CJ Stroud take the Texans to another playoffs? There's always going to be your outliers. But and what they set out to do, and this guy has been to what, 5 championship games in his first 6 seasons. So who am I to doubt the kid? Well, my God, if you're gonna three-peat in this day and age, that's amazing. That's amazing against all those teams I just mentioned in the AFC. Anything else you guys want to touch on Super Bowl 58 before we move on?
Well, I do want to touch one last thing. I think you said it best. Sorry, Mac, I didn't mean to jump in. and we gladly go after this. But I just want to say something to the fans out there. Enjoy this age of the quarterbacks in the AFC, because when I was growing up, the NFC was the powerhouse. They had the Aikmans, they had the Youngs, they had the Montanas. They had all those great quarterbacks on that side, and it always was a pecking order at the top. That's what you have in the AFC. We are at the age of the quarterbacks over there. You have Josh Allen. We know how good he is. Lamar Jackson. We know how good he is. They have Mahomes over there. They have a lot of great talent that we should not, stop. We should stop hating as just people and just enjoy the ride that these guys are taking us on. Because this era of football may never come again. If they three-peat, let's just say hypothetically speaking, they're going to be in rarefied air. One, because they're going to be the only team that's done it in the NFL on consecutive basis, back to back to back to back, right? The other thing is that now you're putting yourself in there with those great teams of all time, like the Patriots and all those, the 49ers, Pittsburgh Steelers. You become one of those teams that has 4 to 5 Lombardis, and you really start to build your lore and your legacy. And so I just want people to just take a moment and really reflect on what's happening in front of your eyes, and don't be so stubborn to miss out. That's all.
As you said, go right ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was just gonna say the Christopher Walken commercial, the BMW commercial, that was super dope. Everywhere he went, everybody was just talking like Christopher Walken. That shit was funny as hell.
What do you mean?
Commercial. Great job, BMW.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So, what's your guys' favorite TV spot or TV ad? I think Mac brought up a good one with the BMW commercial. I want to jump in and I want to give a round of applause for Pluto TV for that couch potato thing. It's like, yes. I thought that was awesome. Good job on Pluto TV, and for the trailer that I thought personally stole the Super Bowl is I know we have a lot, but I'm gonna go at Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I just think that was a perfect way to get people excited. I know Deadpool knocked it out of the park, but I would say Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes had me pretty hyped for that one. Go right ahead, Adam.
I don't know.
You mean you weren't feeling the Wicked trailer?
The Wicked trailer? I mean, like,
that? Oh man, that's one of those ones. If you like that, you're not telling your boys about, right?
They look really high budgeted in that one.
Well, listen, if the Wicked trailer, like, it's one of those ones where you're taking your wife, your spouse, whomever to that, or you're watching it with them. But Planet of the Apes looked okay. I was like, another movie. I get it. It's Planet of the Apes, aliens. Exciting, but nothing. That Deadpool trailer, I watched it again, man.
Nice.
God, I watched a different one. The one that had the Super Bowl was amazing, but the one that I saw
trailer,
yes. The one that I saw on another site was also amazing. So
you can leave now. No, I'm just joking.
And I mean, it's he better, otherwise he's not gonna have a job. So, but. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that trailer. It's going to be one of those movies I'm actually going to go see,
Yeah, we had, I think, was it Jordan Peele's with his Nope Day One or something like that? Like the alien one? That was dope as well. Absolutely, guys. Alrighty, guys. So we have a fast subject one. It doesn't have to be fast. It's like this wasn't pre-planned. It was just rolled into me creating the subject for the start of the show, and I didn't really have the boys do research on it. So I'm kind of putting them on the spot with this one, guys. So the next topic is, there's a lot of talks this past week about, the GOATs, right? For me personally, I think when it comes down to basketball, it comes down to generations, right? You have your Wilt Chamberlain generation, you have your Bill Russell generation, RIP. You have your Michael Jordan generation, and then you have your LeBron James generation, right? And that could stir up a lot of debates. And that's for another time. What we're going to talk about is football, right? And there's a lot of talks about Mahomes. There's a lot of talks about his name being compared right next to Tom Brady, and totally. Some will say deservedly so. So my question to you guys is, we're gonna name your list, your personal list of your top 5 quarterbacks and your top 5 tight ends. I'm gonna probably start up with the tight ends, and we'll go with the tight ends first. And I honestly have a feeling that our list is gonna consist of majority of all the same players. But I want to see. I'm interested to see on where they be ranked. So for mine, off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with number 5. I'm gonna go with Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates, in my mind, deserves to be on this list because just the sheer talent and the sheer touchdowns the touchdown memories that he has for Chargers fans with I forgot his quarterback's name already, but Thank you. And Phillip Rivers. And just, honestly, this guy never really made it to any big playoff games, stuff like that. But regular season, Antonio Gates, man, absolutely a stud. So he will be number fifth on my list for tight ends. I was really debating on where I put this guy. And honestly, I didn't get him. I didn't see him play. I didn't see this guy play. I only seen him play in, on YouTube clips, highlights, documentaries and stuff. But I'm a fan of his shows and I'm a fan of his. I'm gonna put Shannon Sharp as number fourth on my list because what he has and what he kind of put the tight end position on the map outside of the number one guy on my list. But I'm gonna put Shannon Sharp as my number four tight end. I'm gonna put number three is gonna be Rob Gronkowski, just because the sheer amount of Super Bowls he won and what he was able to do. It's kind of like Antonio Gates, but since he's been the first Super Bowls and he has first Super Bowl rings, I'm gonna put Rob Gronkowski as number three. Number two will probably be Travis Kelce. Already in his short career, he's already a nine-time Pro Bowler. Already won 3 Super Bowls, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. So Travis Kelce is just once again, showing and really leading the case. And Miz got it right. I mean, like, how do you not put Tony Gonzalez at number one? I mean, like, people could, but I have to. I have to put Tony. And don't roast me, but I grew up an Atlanta Falcons fan, and I was a Michael Vick fan, and I got to see Tony Gonzalez late on his career when he played for the Falcons. I didn't get to see the prime Tony Gonzalez with the Chiefs, but what he meant for the Falcons organization and for the Chiefs organization, it's hard for me not to put Tony Gonzalez as number one. And honorable mentions would be Shockey. Yes, I don't have Shockey on this list, but he'll be an honorable mention. Go right ahead, Mac. I want to hear your 5 top tight ends.
Well, start off definitely Tony Gonzalez, the top of my list. Tony Gonzalez for sure is just he was just incredible throughout his entire career. I don't need no explanation there. Definitely, I'm coming up with Gronk, just dominant throughout his playing years as well. Even though he wasn't quite the same guy when he got to Tampa Bay, he was still very effective, clutch when needed, was still reliable for Tom Brady down there. And then going old school, man, with the rest of mine. Going very old school with all the rest of mine. Because I got to show the old school some love, man. People forget about some of these legendary players, man. So I got to take it back. That's what Mac the Giants fan is here for. To take you back a little bit.
I love it.
So we're gonna start off Kellen Winslow.
Oh, I knew it.
Senior, baby. Kellen Winslow Senior, an absolute dominant tight end in the late 70s, early 80s in the NFL. Killing it at that position. The absolute best at that position during his playing days. Back in them days, he just played for a pathetic San Diego Chargers football team, unfortunately, but absolute dominant. I'm going to go with a name that a lot of people know. And more recently, obviously, he was more famous for his coaching years and most of the people in our age bracket, man, you know what I mean? But I'm going to go with Mike Ditka.
What?
Another dominant tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Dominant tight end on the field. Man, is a Hall of Famer as a player. Mike Ditka was just, like I said, an absolute stud back in the day. Another guy that I just got to give him his props, man, because a lot of people right now recognize him more so for his coaching and some of his controversial, things associated with him as a football coach. But Mike Ditka was a dominant tight end for the Dallas Cowboys back in the day. And then I'm going to go with a name that a lot of y'all might not know, man. This one might be a curveball a little bit, man. But I'm going to go even back a little bit further. I'm going to go with a guy, man, named John Mackey. Played for the Indianapolis Colts, man. Back in the 60s, man. This guy was, the Baltimore Colts, excuse me. The Baltimore Colts. But anyway, regardless, the Colts. This guy was just, he was the big play tight end before that was even a thing. That was something that he pretty much kind of invented, the tight ends becoming offensive weapons. John Mackey was that guy back in the day for the Colts, man. A guy that also is a Hall of Famer at the tight end position, damn sure the best to ever do it, and a guy that doesn't get recognized nearly enough today. And there's a lot of great talent we see all over the place, but guys like this, I like to always remember the legends of the game, man. So that's my list.
Well, that's a fantastic list. I don't know if I can beat that, but I might add some modernness to this list. My top guy for me is got to be Gronk. I love Gronk. I love what he does. I watched a highlight of him the other day of how he just basically bully balled everybody, caught a pass, broke 3 tackles, stiff armed a guy, and then carried another in the end zone. I'm like, this guy was absolutely nuts. A guy that I thought was pretty dominant, but may not get the credit that he deserves, was Jimmy Graham. Was a pretty good tight end in his day. You know, solid player, did what he needed to do. One of the best tight ends I saw. Could stretch the field. That's number 2. I love Gonzalez. I love what he can do. My tight end list is very obscure to most people. You're not going to hear most of mine. I like Shannon Sharp. What he did, he was a little bit of a tweener. He was between a wide receiver and between the tight end. I'll never forget his catch against the Raiders, 95-yard touchdown catch. So that's great. And there's another guy, I think this is number 5. I'm all over the place, but here's number 5, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, is Jason Witten. He was a solid tight end that nobody talks about for the Cowboys. It was always a thorn in the side. So those are my, 5 tight end. Let me see what I say. Gronk, Gonzalez, Graham, Witten, and I need one more tight end. So, and I said Shannon Sharp. So those are my tight end. I like to sprinkle it across. There's one that's that would make my list normally. I loved Ben Coates growing up. He's not a huge tight end, but back in the day, he was one of the leading
Coates.
Yes, Mac knows what I'm talking about. Played for the Patriots, wore number 87. I really came across him early in my football career when I was where I lived. The Patriots were big, and the Parcells had that giant lineage, and so it was interesting to see him because he liked big tight ends. Listen, I didn't see it. I didn't see Bavaro. I'm only going with guys that I basically saw my eyes on. Yes, history is history, and I could easily say Ozzie Newsome, and other guys like that. But I'm going to give you guys that I saw that I thought were good, that I really liked when I watched growing up as a tight end. So interesting.
I love that list, and one I love that approach to that too. Like going with the players that you watched and then you witnessed, and not going with the consensus just because he's on everybody's list. He's not going to be on my list. Mine is for the players I enjoyed watching. And I love that you said Graham. A lot of people didn't know that Graham was actually on the Saints roster this past season. He came back, he tried out, and he made the team. He didn't take that much snaps. But one other fun fact about Graham is every year in the NFL, he took the time in the offseason to get his license. So not only does this guy can fly any type of aircraft out there, but also helicopters. And this guy actually does tours in Miami where he flies, I believe, Apache from the Korean War, I believe it was. So he flies that around. You can go on Apache, you can fly with him, and he takes it like kind of like a guide around Miami in an old army helicopter. So if you guys are into that, next time you're in Miami, look up his tour. So shout out to Jimmy Graham, just a fun fact.
Well, good for him.
Throw out there,
having a career outside of football.
Absolutely. Alrighty, let's move on to the quarterbacks. I'm gonna probably go first again, and I'll probably turn it over to Adam, and then Mac will go last this time. I'm taking the approach. I love Adam's approach on the guys he did watch. But my approach is the guys I did watch, but also what they meant for the game. There's 2 guys on my list that I didn't get to see, live, but I know what they meant to the game. I was gonna include someone else on my list, but then when I thought about this guy, and I thought like, how could he not be on my list? Because this guy, someone say he's the best passer of the football of all time ever. Just the way he's able to get it's just smooth. And when you hear the name, you already know who I'm going to say. So number 5th on my list is going to be Dan Marino. I'll put Dan Marino at number 5. Number 4th, yes, I am going to give him credit. He's still playing. He's a living legend in himself. I'll put Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, congratulations, you make fourth on my list. At number 3, never watched this guy play. I would probably put him higher if I did watch him play. I think he is one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it, one of the best football players to ever do it. I'm gonna put Joe. I'm gonna put Joe Montana at number 3. At number 2, I'm a fan of this guy, man. I've been a fan of him since I could watch football. His brother played for us. So how cannot you be a fan of Peyton Manning, man? You don't need an offensive coordinator when Peyton Manning is in the house. For that, Peyton Manning is the second best quarterback of all time on my personal list. And then number 2, I mean, like, how do you not put Tom Brady? I understand if you would put Joe Montana above Tom Brady. I understand if you even would put Dan Marino above Tom Brady. But for me, when you look at the overall end goal and what you're trying to accomplish is the Super Bowl. And when you have a guy that ran out there and did what Tom Brady does, I mean, like, you guys know his accolades. I didn't even need to say it. Enough said. Tom Brady at number 1. Go right ahead, Adam.
Well,
So,
my
Dan
number
Marino,
one,
Patrick Mahomes, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, and Tom Brady. Right back. Go right ahead.
my top 2 are 2 of my favorites of all time, and I'll start with my favorite at number 1. Well, my second favorite at number 1 is Peyton Manning. I absolutely loved watching Peyton Manning play. I thought it was a joy to see a guy know everything on the field, on offense and defense, can tell you what the defense is doing, had so much knowledge. I loved Peyton Manning's play. He was the gold standard. Again, I came into football in the mid-'90s, right? So I had I got to see a lot of guys on the tail end of their career, but I got to fully be invested in Peyton Manning's career. In 1998, first overall pick. My first favorite, who I should have put 1, but I for whatever reason, I'm just putting it in a list for him, is Joe Montana. What Joe Montana did to the game, people don't understand what he's done, how good he was, the things that he did. I recommend everyone go watch the documentary on Peacock, Joe Montana. You can see what a clutch player he was, how much of a perfectionist he was, and what he really did to elevate that 49ers team and become a legend. Okay, it's funny story about him was he's in a huddle and he's cooling his team, and his team even says that they're all like tight ass and uptight, and he goes, "Hey, look, there's John Candy," and they all burst into laugh, and that was where you get the name Cool Joe from, because he was just cool as a cucumber in big spots, and not only that, he was a joy to watch. So even though I didn't get to see him I got to see him towards the end, Joe Montana Sports Talk Football and stuff, he's on my list for what he did to me and how I fell in love with the game. My next quarterback on this list is, one that's, how should I put this? It is a little different. One that, again, got me into the game and really made it fun for me to watch. I put Brett Favre on that list. Brett Favre, to me, was the Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes, the guy who played backyard football, who's carrying his teammates down the field when he wins. It's a shame he couldn't win more titles because he would be probably more legendary, more revered, but he broke a lot of all the records that Brady has broken. It was started by Brett Favre. He was the gold standard in terms of being a passer, and every night that he came on, boy, were you having fun in the sun. The next guy I take, again, I love Jim Kelly too. Another guy that I saw that I liked was John Elway. That guy was, if you want to talk about across your body throws, this guy could literally throw a ball 55 yards on a rope across his body, which is uncalled for, but he did it. And he went to Super Bowls. He was legendary. He was a prolific passer. Probably one of the most prolific passers we had in that era. You didn't see guys do what he was doing. That's John Elway. No one's going to forget the drive. That really is what defines quarterbacks, the drive, where he took his team down in 2 minutes to go and score against Cleveland and all that stuff. So, and my last one is a guy I appreciate. I saw a tail end of his career, but I always admire him, and he always gets overlooked when we talk about greatness, was Dan Marino. Dan Marino was an interesting prospect coming out. One of the best prospects, but he fell due to being smoked a little pot here and there and all that. And he really was unfortunate that he didn't have a team strong enough to beat and win a Super Bowl. He went to one Super Bowl and lost. but he'll never get the recognition I think he deserves for what he did for another guys who pioneered kind of the sport and where we're at right now. If you don't have Marinos, Favres, Elways, Peytons, you don't get all these other guys that you see.
There's no Aaron Rodgers without Dan Marino.
Warren Moon was great to watch. I loved Warren Moon. So, and 1B would be, and one guy I also admired was Warren Moon. He was a good player. But another guy that I did admire growing up was what Miz said is Jim Kelly, like what he did for that K-Gun offense. It was pretty spectacular. So,
love it. Love that list. Right ahead, Mac. What's your list at your top 5 quarterbacks?
Well, I mean, you got Dan Marino for sure. Comes in one of the greatest quarterback draft classes of all time. Comes in, goes right to the Super Bowl with the Miami Dolphins. He came up short in the game, never got back to the bowl, but comes in as a rookie and led that team to the Super Bowl. That's an accolade I think a lot of people forget about on Dan Marino's resume. You talk about all the prolific pass numbers that he had. He also did that. He also played in the Super Bowl as a rookie.
Well, wow, that's like the greatest rookie season ever.
You see, do that. Also, then I got John Elway for sure. John Elway, I mean, was just a competitor, an absolute beast, all throughout his career. Went out on top. I mean, on the best high, greatest high a quarter anybody could go out on. Back-to-back Super Bowls. I mean, ride off into the sun and wait until he got into the Hall of Fame, man. John Elway was an absolute stud. People had a strong opinion about John Elway because of the way he entered the league, but at the end of the day, you can't take anything away from what he did off the field, what he did on the field, man. This guy was an absolute competitor. He could run with the football. He could move around really good, and he could throw with the best of them. The left-hand delivery, man. John Elway was the man, man. He was a stud. And then I got, three. Got Peyton Manning here, man. Peyton obviously speaks for himself. It's just the greatness of Peyton Manning. What he did.
Omaha.
Game. Absolutely just changed it. I mean, this guy was also became an absolute legend, man. At the game.
His commercials are great too.
Joe Montana right here. Then I got Joe Montana, man. Obviously, growing up as a kid in the '80s, man. Joe Montana was that guy, man. He was just that dude, and people tried to say, "Oh yeah, Jerry Rice, man." Look, it doesn't matter. Joe Montana,
There's no Jerry Rice without Joe Montana.
Even before Jerry Rice got there, Joe Montana was already flinging the ball all over the yard, man. Because Joe Montana was absolutely there for a few years before Jerry Rice came to town. So Joe Montana was already established when Jerry Rice got there, and all that did was just even help Joe Montana ascend to even more greatness. That's what that was. Great compliment to the greatness. They complimented each other very well. And then one, man, I got Tom Brady. I just can't say no. It's got to be Tom Brady, man. I'm sorry. Six Super Bowl rings. This guy never. I mean, other than those couple of seasons with Randy Moss and such, he never really had the greatest core of receivers. He did have a all-time great tight end in Rob Gronkowski. I'll give him that, but he never had necessarily those household names at running back. He had some good running backs in his backfield to share the backfield with, the Lawrence Maronis of the world, did Corey Dillon for a couple of years, and guys of that sort. They were good quality NFL backs, but they were not those guys. I mean, not like household, all-time great type of names, not like future Hall of Famers or nothing like that. And like I said, in the receiving core, he made guys famous. He literally made other guys famous by elevating the receivers he had. And then first year he had Randy Moss, those numbers his numbers, which were already good numbers, consistent numbers went to like video game numbers. The year or at that first year with Randy Moss. I mean, that's just not by coincidence either. Upgrade the talent, and this great quarterback is going to look even that much greater. You know what I mean? So I just cannot pick Tom Brady here in this spot, man. I mean, look, people can feel any way they want about the guy. Greatness is greatness, and I'm going to recognize that greatness. I mean, one day we'll do this list again some other time down the road, and Patrick Mahomes will surely be on that list for sure. But right now, man, I'm just
It's not there yet.
it's this is what it is, man. And I just can't go against Tom Brady, man.
I
There's a
think
lot of other great quarterbacks. You got some of the guys, the other ones you mentioned, Brett Favre and such. Like those guys like that are like just on the outside, right on the outside looking in. It's not like they're far off, but I just think
you're
my
not letting
five
them to the
guys are just
club.
the
Come
guys
on.
that I love most.
You know, I think Mahomes is a borderline Hall of Famer right now. Um, I think you could easily put him in there. There's not really an argument. He might not have the passing numbers, but we know how great he is. I'm not saying he will go, but we got to let him the next decade of his career because he's only 28. So I think he's going to play till probably about 36, 38. The next 10 years are going to show you what it's about, right? And really cement his legacy there. I don't know if he'll end up with the most passing yards because Tom Brady went to 45. He did that for a reason. Tom Brady wanted to have his own wing in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I wouldn't be surprised if Canton is going to be doing renovations soon. Because I mean, how are you going to immortalize that guy? That guy's got to have his own. You know, they have busts everywhere, but that guy is going to have his own. You know, wing in the Hall of Fame, and now entering Tom Brady wing.
I feel you. It's going to be the museum inside the museum.
Oh yeah, but when next year when Eli Manning goes to the Hall of Fame, I hope to be meeting you guys out there in Canton, Ohio, to see our beloved quarterback get enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I love that. I do want to point out there's a lot. There's a lot, man. There's like Troy Aikman, there's Terry Bradshaw, there's Drew Brees that none of us mentioned. There's so much out there, but for me personally, the reason why
Jeff
I would
Costas is not great.
the reason why I would just put him on that tier list because what Adam said it perfectly. Like she's just showing greatness as is. Does he deserve to be on that list with everybody right now? Yeah, it is kind of soon because he is young. But yeah, there's only 5 spots and there's so much great players. But we're gonna move on. I can't believe we're already hitting our hour mark here on the show. There's so much other topics. We're gonna rapid fire through these rest of these topics. We can get out of here on time for you guys. This one's probably gonna be faster. So I'll probably get into the NBA, being that they had their celebrity All-Star game just this past hour or so. We had Michael Parsons putting up 30 points, being the MVP of the All-Star game. If you guys are into that, I just want to take this time to say shout out to Miami Heat for getting them out of the dumpster that they was in. It was a struggle to watch us play this past couple of months. We was on a horrendous losing streak. We finally broke that in this past 2 weeks, and we're looking forward to taking our conference and getting out of that play-in game, which we all know we love playing in. We love making things harder than ourselves, but hopefully we have a tough challenge in these powerhouse teams. There's just so much powerhouses in this season, and I don't know if we even have a chance, but I'm gonna stay faithful to Miami. I'm gonna lock in, and as far as All-Star Weekend goes, I'm just excited to see all these great athletes do all these amazing contests, and it's kind of like just experience for the fans. It is held in Indianapolis this year. And it's just gonna be fun to watch. So I'm asking the boys if you guys. I know how Matt kind of feels about this new school soft NBA. It's not like the old school, like when the Bad Boys Pistons was around. But give your thoughts on it as well, Matt. But Adam, you begin. What's your thoughts on All-Star break or anything Brooklyn Nets related?
Well, first, I want to just give a shout out to NYG Jeffrey T, because he would be loving this right now. This is his segment. He loves basketball more than anyone on this show. So just want to show you some love there, Jeff. Our Nets, unfortunately, are an absolute travesty. They can't get out of their own way. They're not very good. They have some good players. Jock Vaughn is not the coach for this team. Sean Marks is not looking like the GM of this team. But how many rebuilds can you do, right? You keep spinning your wheels. It's the definition of insanity. I think the move to Brooklyn didn't do anything to boost their morale. It was supposed to bring this championship level team, and I haven't seen. I saw more finals appearances in New Jersey than I have in Brooklyn. Not playoff runs. We're talking about actual good, finals runs. We saw a couple of them were damn good runs in the playoffs in New Jersey, and here we are in Brooklyn. We can't get out of our own way. I don't know when it's going to end, and it's pretty sad. It saddens me because, again, a guy like Jeff really loves this team, and it's hard. I can honestly say in my lifetime, I probably, without barring a miracle, may not see them win a championship. And the Warriors won a championship. I never thought they were going to win one in my lifetime. The way they were going when I was a kid. The Golden State Warriors, Sacramento Kings, another team that I don't know. I would hate to be their fan base, but we're wallowing right there with them. We're never going to win. As for the All-Star weekend, I love the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. I don't care about the other crap that's going on. I know there is a Steph Curry's having a 3-point contest, one of the WNBA girls. That'd be fun. But I really just kind of enjoy the dunk contest. What I don't like about the dunk contest this year is
we'll get into that on our next subject, Namir. Go right ahead, Adam.
It's only 4 guys in the dunk contest, and the 2 guys that intrigue me the most are Jacoby Toppin from the Knicks and Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics. Because Jaylen Brown seems like, man, can this guy do everything? And there's Mac McGull and Jamie Quase Jr., right? He probably is good and all that stuff, but I liked it when there was like 3 rounds and Dominique and all those good guys, Vince Carter, and now you don't really have that. As for the 3-point contest, it seems like
in the house.
As for the 3-point contest, it seems like they add more people every year. The dunk contest is getting smaller. The 3-point contest is getting larger. You have Damon Lillard, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Malik Beasley, Larry McCracken, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young.
Did you say Markkanen? You called Markkanen McCracken?
Markkanen.
I love it. You're good. I love it.
So I have dyslexia. What's your problem?
No, you'll get out. Why
you gotta stop my style?
I just love that. I just love that.
I'm just kidding. I don't really care.
That's so great.
I'm gonna go with Trae Young as my winner here. As much as I love Damian Lillard, it's different when you're doing 3-point contests in a game. I think Donovan Mitchell's pretty good. He does heat up a lot as well. And what's interesting? It's Karl Anthony Towns. Like, for a big man, he shoots. He can shoot, but it's like, I can't wait to hear Reggie Miller and all those guys talk about, well, he's heating up or blah blah blah. Kevin Harlan and all those guys doing a great thing. With Trae Young, I've seen a lot of him. He's clutch, and I just think if he gets into a groove, man, watch out. And obviously Damian Lillard's on there, and part of me is like, why aren't you taking Lillard? This guy can do it all. It's good to have some good stars. Look at the 3-point contest. You got Brunson; he's a pretty good player. Damian Lillard's a star. Donovan Mitchell's a star. Trae Young is a star for Atlanta. Karl Anthony Towns, you at least know the name. Laurie McCarkinen, or whatever the hell his name is. He's
McCracken. We'll go with that. I love that.
He's new. Malik Beasley, we got 2 Bucks on the same team. Wow, that's pretty interesting. They don't normally do that. So the Bucks could be the team to beat. But anyways, those are the 2 contests I like. Like I said, I'm going to go with Jaylen Brown in the dunk contest, and I'm going to go with Trae Young in the 3-point contest, and we'll see if those things happen.
I love it. I know Mackie doesn't really follow basketball, but is there any words you want to say about it?
Tudo.
Not really. I mean, not much. I think all of these things. I mean, as much.
Do you miss
as
the
I
old school dunk contest?
NBA
Can you
is
just
really
maybe
kind
touch
of.
on that?
I do. I miss seeing dunk contests
day.
where I saw Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins going to war in a dunk contest. That's what All-Star Weekend is supposed to be about. Ain't All-Star Weekend for the fans? Well, the fans want to see the stars. They don't want to see the 12th man off the bench that nobody knows. They want to see the stars.
The all bums.
They don't want to see G League players. They want to see the stars.
G League.
A G League guy did win it last year.
It's just like.
That's what I mean.
It's just,
he's not even here.
It's just ridiculous.
He's not even playing in the league. But
he's not even here to
The boy
defend
saved
his
the dunk
title.
contest last
Like,
year. You have to admit,
Sorry,
the boy
I can't
saved the dunk
stand
contest.
behind this shit. Okay, I
But-
can't stand behind this shit.
you don't even have a
Doesn't
defending
even
title
have a
holder.
contract.
You-
Saving the dunk
so,
contest.
so the guy comes in, gets 10-day contract, wins the NBA dunk contest, and that's his accolade for his life. They're like, hey man, what are you doing these days? Oh, I'm working at Kinko's or whatever place,
Yeah.
But I used to be an NBA dunk champion. Oh wait, are you going to defend your title? No. That's
They should bring him back to defend his
right.
title
That's what I'm
because of that.
saying. The NBA should at least sponsor him to come out.
I
And
don't
like,
really know enough about rugby though. With
Well, that's
respect, I
good.
don't know enough about
All
rugby
I'm
to be
saying, listen.
talking about rugby. Unfortunately,
That's good.
Because rugby is the shit, man. If football, if you really want to get into a game, rugby is fantastic. And the way they do things, the scrums, those guys really go at it. I don't know a team that wears all black, but when this team wears all black, I forget who it is, but when they play, it's just like you just
The New
love
Zealand Blacks, right?
the New Zealand Blacks. Is that
I
what you
don't know. I
said?
could be wrong.
And that sounds inappropriate, so I'm not going to say what you just said. But this team wears all black. It looks like you're going to a funeral,
Yeah,
but
the New Zealand Blacks.
you're not. But I think if you guys ever check out rugby, man, I checked it out during the pandemic, and I fell in love with the game, man. I thought it was one of those best games where it's entertaining to watch. They're the All Blacks. There they are. You said the Netherlands
I do know
Blacks.
the New Zealand Blacks. They're legendary in rugby.
Exactly. But the way that you said it didn't seem like
Yeah, it came out kind of wrong.
saying like I'm like whatever. There you
New
go.
Zealand All Blacks. Yep.
So,
I said blacks.
I
but all
love
blacks
what they do.
okay,
The
two though.
scrums. And you know what it is though? It's harder than football because you're
Look at that
not tackling.
championships.
The scrum is
That's
something
dynasty right there.
one of the most interesting things to watch, and how they throw the ball in from the sidelines and everything like that. Rugby is a really fantastic sport. I wish we got into it more. I know they play like a 7-on-7 tournament. Every once in a while. I think it's in the Olympics this year, which I hope we get to
They
see.
do the haka before every game. That's how I knew about them.
But
Well, that'll definitely get it the exposure then. A little more exposure.
well, it's about
In the
watching it. They have exposure. Trust me, man. They're on like Fox FS1 and stuff. You can find rugby, and let me tell you, I was watching another team that had like yellow and black, and they were just dominating this team in blue. I don't know the names because it was a few years ago, and I was watching it because I was so starved of football and so starved of any sport. And rugby was the only one during that time that was playing, and I was like, oh my god, these people fucking kill them.
And the uniform is the mouthpiece.
It's insane, man. And the way they do things, like there's guys on there. You think of Jordan Mailata. Think of that guy, right? Without his pads on, 6'8", 280 pounds. That guy's running at you with the ball in your hand. I am not trying to tackle that guy. You can't throw your feet at them because you're going to break your legs. You actually have to tackle them. You know what I'm saying? Not like in the NFL where you just throw your body and I'm going to tackle somebody. More power to you and your body for playing rugby. So salute to you, my friend.
Absolutely. We have our final two topics of the day, gang. UFC 298, we are not going to cover tonight, guys. Unfortunately, me and Raphael does have a show on Tuesday night. Self-plug. If you guys want to check out the Combat Club, we did a full deep dive on my channel. So it's on my channel now.
Left for
on UFC 298. Yeah. What we're going to do now is...
talking about rugby.
Before we get into the Giants talk or any Giants discussion on coaches or signing shit from Horsey or anything like that.
I hate the Giants.
We're going to talk about the road to WrestleMania. I don't know if you guys got to watch the press conference. I don't know if you guys are in the latest news. I know you guys are avid WWE fans. Do you guys basically the question is what you guys' thoughts on Cody Rhodes apparently going for the end of his story. The rematch, it looks like it's playing that way. Other things could have happened. I'm not fully caught up. Mac, if you're Adam, if you're fully caught up, let us know. But what you guys thoughts on The Rock somehow getting involved? And some people say it was staged, some people say it was he went off script, but apparently The Rock ended up slapping Cody, and it was a whole big thing with Seth Rollins being pretty mad and all that kind of excitement, just getting everybody hyped up for the WrestleMania. That being said, it's going to take place in April, but it is the road to WrestleMania, so that always happens about 69 or 70 days out. But what you guys thoughts on where the story narrative is going? Recent weeks on War, we even seen Bailey, Bailey, leader of Damage Control, totally get backstabbed by Damage Control and Kabuchi Warriors and Io Sky. So with that whole feud coming down with Io Sky now facing Bailey, and then we got Nia Jax. A lot of people probably casuals are not like people like me that really don't know. They probably don't know that Nia Jax is a part of the bloodline too, so she might get a championship. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. She's second cousins to The Rock. I just found that out apparently. But that being said, guys, WWE talk about it. Don't want to talk about it. We can move on, but let you guys have the mic. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. At this point, I never know what really to expect from WWE much anymore when it comes to Roman Reigns, at least. I mean, I don't know at this point. Will Cody finish the story? I have no idea, to be honest, at this point anymore. Just the whole way all of this has gone down it's kind of been a mess. I mean, they've been kind of teasing the Rock Roman Reigns match for a couple of years now. It seemed like you thought it was going to happen, but then you bring all this extra stuff into the mix, and now you have The Rock coming back, and now he's done a full heel turn. He's talking bad to the fans again, talking crazy. I mean, I didn't get to see SmackDown yet tonight. Apparently, him and Roman Reigns were on SmackDown tonight, so
I
I'll
don't know
check
anything.
that out probably tomorrow at some point. But
I'll be fast
I
forwarding
don't
that
know.
tonight.
To me, it's just
That's when.
this is just WWE being WWE, man. I mean, I do appreciate the fact that Cody's getting to pick the match that he wants and not being forced necessarily into a match with Rollins if that's not truly what he wanted. He won the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble winner gets to pick their shot. And I do love the fact that he stood there and still called his shot and called out Roman Reigns, regardless of what The Rock came out and said a few nights prior to that press conference. So I do appreciate Cody Rhodes standing up on his own 2 feet and still saying, "Look, I'm taking on Roman Reigns. You can kick rocks, the rocks, figuratively. You can go ahead and kick rocks, bro. They're pretty much." But I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, the WWE does the right thing and takes that damn title away from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and puts it on Cody, because at least Cody will be there defending that title and bringing honor back to it. This part-time champion shit, I just can't deal with it anymore. Enough is enough. He's held that title hostage for long enough, and it's time to move on. But like I said, I'm not gonna really hold my breath on anything, man.
Well,
And yeah, I, I'm not. I just whatever.
the Rock thing is kind of dumb, if in a way, because what you should have done was have him win the Royal Rumble, be a surprise entrant, do it the right way, win the Royal Rumble. Then it can be head of the table. He goes after Roman Reigns and the title, blah, blah, blah. You could build the whole storyline. Then you could have Cody Rhodes get kicked to the side, saying, fuck, like, I didn't really lose. Or you could have done something where he either got out of the ring and was injured. I didn't really lose. You could have made Cody look like that. And then, Seth Rollins could challenge for that title and win, right? The bottom line is now that you've inserted The Rock in there and you wanted this match, I don't know when I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because to me, you have a chance to make. You already teased the SummerSlam rematch that he's going to take everything from Roman. So to me, I would rather have Cody Rhodes been the title holder, beating Seth Rollins, and then come take both titles from Roman Reigns and hold both titles and say, I am now the true king of WWE. There's only one royal family, and that's me. That's how I would have done it. That's how I would have wrote it. But right now, I don't know where they're going to go, and I'm afraid if they make Cody lose, it's going to lose steam. The whole thing. He's earned this right. He's done this. He's held the company in check. He's the fucking John Cena of this era right now, right? The people love him in every arena he goes to, no matter what he does. I don't even know if he can be a heel. He'd still be that good. He cuts killer promos. He holds the company to a T. And I think what The Rock did on Sunday at the press conference, whether it was real or not, seemed a little much. You're going to fix it, blah, 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 throwing his weight around. It's like, but dude, if you had done it the right way and came back like you did, because he came back before Royal Rumble to say that I'm home, blah, 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 right? So he was there, in I think late 2023, early 2021. I think he was there at day one or something like that. So why not just enter the Royal Rumble and win? Be number 30. Walk in, kick everybody's ass. The Rock layeth the smack it down on everybody. I'll go on to WrestleMania. And then you have a real head of the table match. And of course, now you have nothing. Because Roman Reigns, I think, first off, his act is stale. Anybody tells me that guy's a great champion, I'm going to go say, go kick rocks. Because first off, it's scripted. Second off, he's not even that good. It was great when he first started at We the Ones and everything like that. But now it's just like, dude, you're boring. Solo Sikoa's still there. He hasn't evolved. His character, Paul Heyman, is a mouthpiece that could be used for other wrestlers. But no, he's there stuck in your corner talking. Like with Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman fit to a T because Brock Lesnar didn't talk, right? Roman Reigns speaks. What's the point? Dude, I need the wise man there for? Give me a break. As for Nia Jax, kick rocks too. You're not even that good of a champion. I'd rather see Jade Cargill over Nia Jax. I think they're going to do something with her and Bianca at WrestleMania. Nia Jax to me is just not a good wrestler. She just doesn't do anything. I feel like when you put her in there with those string bean girls, I'm supposed to believe those girls have a chance of beating Nia Jax, like in real life, like that doesn't really seem to be the case. So, if you're going to bring in girls like that, you have other girls to fight them or at least do something. I can't wait for her to lose to Rhea Ripley because Rhea Ripley to me has been a phenomenal women's champion. One of the legendary runs that we've never talked about. Rhea Ripley is the champion we rarely talk about. We see her, but we don't give her the praise that she deserves. Damn it, she deserves praise because she is a badass bitch. Okay. And she carries that. I love Rhea Ripley, probably my favorite female wrestler. And it was even when she was, not the Judgment Day Rhea Ripley. I still liked her prior to that when she took the title from Charlotte early on, and then she had to work her way back up, and now she's who she is, and she's cutting great promos, and people are loving her. Now she's becoming an anti-hero, which is once you become the anti-hero, where you can be just a badass person, your character changes. I think she's evolved into one of the best wrestlers. I don't care if whoever loses the title. She's the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop, and Nia Jax doesn't deserve her title. If anything, I'd rather give it to Jade Cargill because that girl, to me, is a beast as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. As far as Bayley goes, I think she deserves the title. I hope she wins the title just for her sake. She does a lot for the company and doesn't say much, does her job, doesn't get rewarded the way. I mean, when she came up, she was Bayley, the hugger, girl, and she had to break through with that gimmick and won a title with that gimmick, right? And it wasn't until she became Ding Dong, whoever she was, and a heel where she kind of evolved into the character that she is now. And I still think they don't do her with enough respect, right, in this game. I think the women wrestlers are in a evolution that we haven't seen before. It's kind of like the men in the 80s, right? You got all types of gimmicks, all types of, people that glow in the dark. You got people that paint their face. You got women that, that got long hair. You got heavyset women. You got women that drive around in tanks and shit. You don't see those gimmicks the same way with the guys anymore. You used to see that in the 80s, Sergeant Slaughter with his, his group, Iron Sheik with his guys that would come out, Hulk Hogan and the Flag, the other props that they would use to make their characters big. You're seeing that right now with the ladies. And that's what I think they're in. I think they're in their 80s era right now. You're going to start to see probably with Rhea Ripley lead a more darker, grungier type of era very soon, where you're going to start to see matches where they're going to use barbed wire matches. They're going to do tag matches. They're going to really start to elevate their game. And we'll see where they go from here. I mean, Triple H is the CEO. Let's hope he gets his ship right. He needs to do it. AEW, I watch now that I have a provider to watch it, and they make bangers. Every night, AEW goes out to make a banger. That's what they do, okay? You may not like their gimmicks, you may not like their props, but when you go out there, those wrestlers are trying to give you a banger every night. They want you to lead that show like, damn, what did we see? The WWE needs to raise the bar. You need to get back to that level. You need to get back to the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, or our jaws would drop with the insaneness that you guys were. So that's all I have to say on the WWE.
Well said, guys. Well said, guys. Yeah, a lot of great points. And I'm just gonna say, as a casual fan, dip back then every now and then for WrestleMania season. There's times where you put your championship on the superstar that can carry the brand, and they delayed it. I don't know if he's got injured or that's why they delayed it, but Cody Rhodes is that superstar right now. It'd be foolish of the WWE not to put a title on that guy. I honestly think that going back and then watching these main events and just trying to dabble into it a little bit. Like, I think honestly they should have put the title on LA Knight when they had a chance, but obviously that passed by. So that being said, I'm just exactly what you guys said. I'm just sick of the same old BS. But things need to switch, and I do love certain things that they do, but as far as the bloodline and all of that is just stale. There's only one guy that I do love, and he's a part of the bloodline, but he's not a part of the bloodline. Is Jay? I think Jay is a main event. The crowd does pop, and if anybody from the bloodline should hold a championship, just give that guy a championship, because it's all about hard work and paying them dues. And what Adam said, I mean, like, you have superstars in the back that's been doing it for forever, and they don't get the same chances. So it's kind of like, I understand everybody works hard at this game, but at the end of the day, there's so much superstars that need a chance to have that championship around their waist, and not with the poor time of Roman Reigns continue to do, not even show up. And that being said, not a real champion. Last topic being that we are at our end of our show here, probably going to go for at least 15 minutes more. I just want you guys to talk about any hires that it looks like the Giants went in and basically took Mike Vrabel's coaching staff and kind of for them, or now our coachings are with our front office or something with our organization. I know the main guy that I probably want to touch on real fast is our new defensive coordinator that we haven't touched on the show yet, is Shane. So shout out to Shane for getting the job. This guy is an up and comer in the coaching world. A lot of people maybe not as familiar with him. I know I wasn't. I only know him for being my history of a friend of the family's is a Titans fan, and he was talking about this guy being the next big thing, and obviously he had a down season in this year. A good stat that he did have in both years was, I know we all probably did our research on it, was he did have the number one red zone stoppage team, so they stopped opponents when they got into the red zone. But I think what we're really hiring him for is what he showed us last year, and his ability to, rank high in a lot of defensive categories that really did count. This guy hasn't really made his name yet in the NFL. He's not a household name. Will he one day maybe become your Rick Mortendale's? Who knows? Time will tell. But it was a kind of a different approach. Obviously, we all know that this wasn't probably the number one pick. I don't know if I'm too excited about it or I'm just numb. I'm numb to it because of the fact that we don't really know that much about this guy, right? So until, we kind of get a press conference and get an interview out of him, or even just seeing him react with his players. I know a lot of former players really respect him, but we'll see. we'll see. And as far as all these other guys, it is the off season. Coach Dable and Joe Shane is just filling out the staffs and letting people go, and then also bringing people in. So that is that when it comes to talking Giants for me, guys. But I'm gonna let the boys touch on it. As far as the draft and everything like that, guys, we are probably gonna touch on that in future episodes. We have so much episodes to get to before the draft, but little do you know, the combine's gonna be here. We can talk about that and stuff. But if you guys do wanna touch on Namir's comment earlier, you guys can go ahead and take it. For me, I'm just gonna say if the price is right. I know Berkeley wants to be a Giant for life. I know he's open about that, but I know there's other teams like that really want him services and who wouldn't. So, if the price is right, I say keep him, but don't break the bank for him. Not saying he doesn't deserve it, but we have so much other problems, and it just sucks because Berkeley was our offense for the last couple of 5-6 years. But at the end of the day, like, we have so much other issues. So if the price is right, I'll say go for it. But we can't afford to break the bank on a running back right now in our current state. And it's sad to say, being that Berkeley is the New York Giants. But I'm gonna let the boys go and touch on Berkeley question. I'll also touch on the coaching staff's question or anything you guys want to say about the Giants. Feel free to talk about the draft, but I know I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna hold off for myself personally. So you guys can go right ahead.
Well, look, as far as Saquon Barkley goes, unfortunately, I don't think I think he played his last game as a Giant. Unfortunately, but the Giants they'll find out the hard way when they watch him go somewhere else and do the things that we know he can do. And if they could have been capable of doing their job by putting the proper help around this man, they would find out that they had a future, that they had an all-time great right there in house already, and they just didn't have what it takes, and didn't do the things they had to do to be able to keep him there. And now this running back market thing will be the excuse to not pay him. And I get, like I said, like you said, Zion, you're right. You can't afford to break the bank right now at this point. So it just comes down to a business deal, business decision, and unfortunately, I think Saquon Barkley is going to be on the wrong side of that business decision. So I'm going to wish him the best of luck. We'll see what happens. You still never know. I suppose he's supposed to be meeting with Saquon Barkley at the scouting combine, from what I understand, and I guess start trying to negotiate a little something, and we'll go from there. We'll find out. We'll see what the future holds for Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants. But as far as the coaching hirings, well, obviously Wink resigned, stepped down. But it's the whole thing about this New York Giants team that's just baffling to me is you have so many problems on the offensive side of the football, but yet so far throughout this offseason, I feel like the defensive side of football, which is the side that I think most people can agree had far fewer problems, far fewer problems. And this is the side that seems to be getting all the shakeup right now is the defensive side of things. And it's just like everybody's all people back on this hype train. Oh, Daniel Jones is he's gonna be healthy 100% by August. He's gonna have him for the start of the season. That makes you excited as a New York Giant. It doesn't excite me as a New York Giant fan. I'm not saying I wish the kid bad luck as far as be on the injury front, but come on, why is that starting to excite people? Oh, good tag, Daniel Jones is gonna be ready to play. Why are we still talking about this dude? Like seriously. Why is he getting this much energy still? The proof is in the pudding. Both the other quarterbacks on this roster this past season were more productive than him, and they were playing in the same fucked up situations. The same fucked up offensive line. The same average at best skill players to work with. Yet, Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito found a way to be more productive than Daniel Jones. But yet here we are once again still talking about Daniel Jones. Oh, he'll be back. He'll be ready to go for the start of the season. So, what the hell does that mean? Doesn't mean shit. And these are the things people are getting excited about. This is the frustrating thing for me right now as a Giants fan. It's just the acceptance, the continuous acceptance of mediocrity. The
Thank
continuous
you.
acceptance.
Welcome to my side.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. This offense needs to be addressed. Yet, right now, looks like we're going to lose the best player on the damn offense. Going to look like we're going to lose that guy. Didn't have what it takes to keep that guy in the building. Most likely, I mean, like I said, we don't know. It's not a done deal, but it's just this team is just so damn frustrating right now, man. I mean, look, from what I'm hearing, Mike Kafka wanted to get out of town. Was trying to get out to Seattle or something, take their offensive coordinator position. That's a lateral move. What is that telling you? Like, what is going on with this organization right now? I just haven't seen this in my lifetime as a fan. Not as bad as things have just been. Going through coaches like crazy. They're paying mediocre quarterbacks, keeping them around, to keep them around. Being excited over a mediocre quarterback. Like, come on, man. Look, Jones can start the season how that's fine. Well and good. Take some lumps in the beginning of the season. But don't let that shit deter you from making the move that needs to be made. And getting that guy to truly be the future, man. Just don't try to let this, he'll be ready to go by August. He'll be ready for the start of the season. Don't let that say, so we ain't got to draft a quarterback right now. No. Don't. Please don't be those guys, man. Just, I don't know. Like I said, as far as like I said, the coaches Shane Bowen, Tennessee crew, we'll see how it works out when you come in. Keep these guys playing at the level they were playing on the defensive side of the football, and I'm good with that, man. I'll be fine with it, man. I mean, just keep that energy up on that side of the ball. This is gonna be an interesting off season, man. A lot of, I mean, Xavier McKinney is, like I said, a guy that right now also another guy that just. I mean, I'm on trying to really keep this guy around, but at the same time, once again, what's that price tag gonna look like, man, for a guy like him? Pretty sure he's gonna command quite a bit of money on the open market, man. So, just don't know. We'll see what Joe Shane's made of, man. What his negotiating skills is made of, what he's able to do. But this is off season right now. The off season is really off to it's not off to a very. I'm not really very inspired by what I've been seeing thus far for the New York Giants in the early part of this off season. It's just not been very uninspiring right now, and they need to wake me up a little bit more because right now this is do or die for this team right now. This is they got to figure out a way to turn things around. Not say you got to figure out a way to win a title next year. That'd be obnoxious to think, but just figure out a way to turn things around and start heading in an upward trajectory of truly becoming good again. I mean, it's no more a season here and a season there, like 2016 season, the season of 2022 season last year. I mean, yeah, season ago. That's all smoke and mirrors, man. We need to get back to building consistent greatness. And that's going to start by getting that quarterback in here and building around that guy. There are a few playmakers on this team. If you get that right QB in here, I saw a tweet the other day. Somebody was mentioning about Wan'Dale Robinson, man, and his ability. If you go back and look at some of the tape throughout this season, you'll see times if they got that ball in that man's hands and actually gave him an ability to run with the football. There was times where there were plays to be made by that young man, but a lot of times you're throwing the ball to him and he's pretty much you're not giving him a chance to make a play. That's what the great quarterbacks do. They give their guys that opportunity to make plays, to make it happen. You got to it's just you got to get consistent play at the quarterback position. I'm sorry, that's what it all comes down to me for me. It starts right there, man. Like people keep talking about how important the quarterback is. Well, then it's time for the Giants to put this roster together and act like they know that. People keep saying, "Oh, it takes more than just bringing a quarterback in." It does, but fuck it. It starts with having that guy, knowing you got that guy. That's when everything else can start coming together. You can build everything around and start coming together. When you know you got that guy here, and we don't have that guy. I mean, we got Daniel Jones, and I don't know why that's still good enough for so many people. I have no idea. I cannot figure it out how that is still good enough for so many. I mean, I gave that kid every chance I could, every chance I could. I can't anymore. Not after what I saw in particular this past season with a second and a third string quarterback coming in there and outperforming him, not by a little bit, by a lot. I can't anymore.
Well said. Well said. That was a pretty intake for sure. Great. Go right ahead, Adam. Take the floor.
I don't really have much, but maybe if it comes from your mouth, Mac, people will listen because I've been banging that drum for 2.5 years. I'm still banging that drum, and people call me crazy. They say you're a hater. You know, you don't know what you're looking at. And all I ask them is, what do you see that I don't? And not one person can come up and truly tell me what they're seeing in Daniel Jones. You know what I saw? I went to a space today that I normally don't go in. I usually go into one to where everyone kind of has my same viewpoint. They actually let you speak in that one. I went to this one space, and they're yelling at the top of their lungs with each other, and there's 2 Daniel Jones fans going at it, and all the excuses are, well, you don't have the O-line. Well, we need to get a receiver. Well, we need to do this. We need to do that. It's never Daniel Jones' fault. So I made a tweet, and I said, when are we going to blame the individual? When are we going to blame the individual for his play on the field and not blame everything else? Because what happens is, it's like when your child does something wrong and he clearly has done something wrong, but you don't want to believe that is your child, and you're like, no, it can't be. It must be the teachers, must be the school, must be the environment. Blame everything else but the actual person. And that's the only thing I ask is, if you're a Daniel Jones lover out there, tell me why you like mediocrity, because that's where we are. That's why I bang the table. People call me obsessed. NYG22 calls me obsessed with Daniel Jones. It's not obsessed with Daniel Jones. It's obsessed with the idea of being mediocre, of running it back, of winning 8 or 9 games and spinning our wheels, because that's what we do as a giant organization. That's what a guy like Daniel Jones does for you. Do you think he's beating the Ravens? Do you really think he's beating the Ravens? This Ravens team, you know, they had fluky wins against them in 2022. Now you think they're going to beat the Bengals? All those teams are fighting for the Super Bowl. Our roster is weak. You know where Vegas has us ranked? The second worst team in football right now. They're probably going to project us to win over under 6 games. The only way that you save your job, Joe Shane and Brian Dable, is to get the quarterback. I don't care about assets. I'm not that guy who's going to cry over spilled milk for fucking 2025 first round draft pick. If that's what it takes to get the quarterback that you think is going to change the franchise, you do it. Because guess what? If he wins a Lombardi for you, are you going to go back and be like, well, you know, when you're sitting there in your rocking chair, when you're like 70 and you're reminiscing about the Giants, you go, oh, well, that 2025 draft pick we shouldn't have given up, but thank God he got us a Lombardi. You're not going to know. Because guess what? I know that Sean Merriman was drafted with the Giants draft picks for Eli Manning. I don't care. You know why? Eli Manning brought me 2 Super Bowls. So what do I care that they have Sean Merriman on the Chargers? It doesn't matter. People need to understand that, yes, I see that the O-line is broken. I clearly see that. But I also clearly see that the quarterback's broken. And I watch teams across the league. I watch a team who, by the way, this is not me. Go look at the Twitter. Go look at Kayvon Thibodeau's face. They asked him, who's your quarterback? He said, Daniel Jones, and then looked at the camera. He said, another interview, who should have got paid? Oh, well, they both should have got paid, but I'm more mad that they didn't pay Saquon Barkley first. What does that tell you? They don't even like their quarterback in their room. The body language of this team is telling you exactly what they want. They know they're good. They know that they can play ball. Jalen Hyatt indirectly said it. So did Darius Slayton. They all said it. They're all saying it in silent ways. It's up to Joe Shane to grab the gravitas to go make a move. I don't care what it costs. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of being the laughing stock of the league. I'm tired of not having New York Giant pride. You people all wanted wins, right? You wanted meaningless wins. So what? So you could be 6-10, so that you could run it back again. And all you people said when I said to get a quarterback last year at 25, what'd you tell me? Oh, you're too deep to do that. It's too far. You're not close enough to get one. And now that we're close enough to get one, oh, we can't do it. Let's run it back with Daniel Jones. Let's get a receiver. What? Why? Why is this the methodology? Why do I have to suffer and want to be a mediocre team? I don't. And you know what I say to those people out there who say you can't win? Look at the Texans did. Okay? They won a game and turned it around in one season. And I'm not expecting the Giants to do that if they get a quarterback. But why can't they turn it around in 2025? The NFL is built on mediocrity. It's literally built for you to win the next year if you get a good team. Look at the Lions. That's what it's built to do. But it's also built on good quarterback play. And good quarterback play is being lost on the younger generation because they don't want to. They want to think of a receiver who gets 10 targets a game is the main focal point of your offense. A guy who touches the ball 10 times a game. You know how many times the quarterback touches the ball? 100 times a game. And you know how hard it is to replace 5 guys in the offensive line when it takes one guy to replace on the quarterback position? So do the mathematics. One more thing. The draft. Everyone's like, hey, punt it to the second round. Guess what? 6 is closer to 1 than it is to 33 or 39 where we are. We have 33 picks from our first round pick. You know how many teams that is? That's 33 opportunities for other teams to take a quarterback that you could have had with 2 at number 4. But you decided to punt the position because you wanted to get Brock Bowers or Roma Dunze or Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, players who don't touch the field more than 10 times a game. And by the way, if you are an offensive skill set position player, who's the guy that gives you those targets? But I'm just glad that Mac is on my side of the island finally, and that we can start to understand. And oh, by the way, I'm going to take this lap right now. Pat myself on the back because I was the only one standing here alone, vilified by Giant fans, vilified by friends, by people who I trusted the most in circles, called me negative or this, that, and the other thing when I was just telling them that I don't like the quarterback because I don't want to be mid. I'll tell you one guy who stood by me, AK. He said, hey, man, you just don't like mediocrity. That's why you fight so hard about Daniel Jones. And when I realized that's what really the anger towards Daniel Jones is, that's what it was. It's not that I hate the guy. It's not that I don't think he can play quarterback, which I don't. It's I don't want to be mid anymore. I don't want to be a third-place team. I want to be fighting for division titles, not beating the Minnesota Vikings, high-fiving everybody, and then getting railroaded by the Eagles. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the infighting. This has been the worst offseason start to a team in the history I can remember. I've seen Pat McAfee, whatever the fuck his name is, Pat Shermer, McAdoo, Joe Judge. The only person who had fighting with his coaches was Joe Judge. He beat up his O-line coach. Wink Martindale and Brian Dable having problems. Your GM's listening on the headset. This is not good shit. The only way you survive this, because let's be honest, they're probably not winning a lot of games next year. I hate to tell you that, folks. Probably not. They play a tough schedule. I don't care what anybody tells me. Schedules do matter. They do. If they don't win with Daniel Jones as the quarterback, you're all fired. That means Daniel's gone too. You're all fired. Not GM. No. You're all fucking fired. You get a quarterback in here, you reinvigorate the fan base, and I guarantee you, John Mara will be like, you won 7 games? Let's run it back. The quarterback looked good. You know, he won us some games. Looked like we're heading in the right direction. All right, let's go spend big bucks in 2025 to be a contender, a playoff contender at least. And that's my rant. Thank you.
Well said,
got
guys.
one more thing real quick. One more thing real
Go ahead,
quick
Matt.
about just coming back to the Saquon Barkley thing. I mean, if anybody don't know, I'm a big Saquon Barkley fan. I don't care. I'll stand on that cliff all by myself. I don't care how people feel about Saquon Barkley. A lot of strong opinions about not paying a running back. I'm not a guy that thinks drafting him was a mistake. I think that year when he came out, he was absolutely the best player in his draft class. We got him at the number 2 overall pick, and I'll stand behind that. And I don't give a damn how anybody feels about it. You got to also put in perspective people talk about his production and say it doesn't match this, doesn't match that. He's not as good as Christian McCaffrey and this, that, and the other. Saquon Barkley is literally the only player on the New York Giants offense that defenses literally prepare for and make it a point to stop week in and week out. And it needs to be put into perspective as well. I'm not saying you go out there and you give him an outlandish amount of money or you break the bank, by no means. But a fair rate is a fair rate for what he's meant to this team and what he's carried and the things that he's done and everything. He's put this team as much as he can on his back, as much as he possibly can. Like I said, there's no other player on this offense that's keeping defenses up at night. He's the only one. He's the only one they come in with a game plan prepared to stop. They're not worried about Daniel Jones. They're not worried about any of the damn receivers. They're only worried about number 26. That's it. He's the only guy that defenses give a damn about when they're preparing to play the New York Football Giants. So that's all I mean. A guy like him, hometown kid from New York, wants to be here, wants to actually be a part of this shit show. He wants to be a part of it. He actually wants to be a part of that because he wants to be here, most likely for the turnaround, if there can be one. Why wouldn't he want to be a part of that? But that's dedication, that's loyalty, and there's something to be said about that as well. So, I mean, it's just
I'm not
how
gonna
I
miss
feel
him.
about it. I just had to get that off my chest. I'm a fan through and through, and I believe that we're no matter what, we're better with him, and I'd rather see him here than to see him elsewhere doing the things that I wish he could have been doing here, but we just couldn't do right by him. And that's how I feel about that. It's a disappointment. It's been a disappointment all across the board, and throughout his whole career, the way we handled his whole time being here. I'm sorry. I stand behind him being a generational talent when we drafted him, and it's just I think we just wasted this early part of his career, completely wasted it.
Yeah, you mean like the Warriors have dropped a lot of facts on there, a lot of premium takes right there, and it's facts. You know what I'm saying? When you think of for Giants fans right now, still wanting to keep Daniel Jones, like believe me, kind of understand where you're coming from. But at the end of the day, like how much times do you want to lose off seasons? If you really think about it, we've been losing a lot of off seasons lately, right? We get really excited, we go spend all this money, right? Look, you can talk about receivers, you can talk about drafting offensive linemen. Has any of them worked out? Look at the tight end we just bought in. Last time I checked, he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? Look at should I talk about Galladay? Like, look how much times we tried in off seasons and it just failed. So what's with giving the house away for next year? What is next year? What is next year gonna get us? Right? People out here don't want to trade our future. What the fuck is our future? Of losing organizations? Like literally, how stupid do you fucking sound? I don't want to give our future because I don't want to move up to get a generational talent. Like I don't mean to piss off anybody who wants to keep Daniel Jones, but when you tell me you don't want to waste our fucking future, what is our fucking future?
I don't
What
know,
is our
man.
future? You know what I'm
I get
saying?
yelled at. I get yelled at on
And
Twitter all about that, about future draft picks. People getting their panties in a twist on guys
yeah,
who don't even know where they're going to be. You don't know where the 2025 draft is going to be. You don't know what pick you're picking. How are you like
and you
already
know
getting
what's funny,
upset?
Adam? You know what's funny? Everybody, this time of the year, they make like they're making $100,000, like they're experts at these Pro Football Focus websites.
Right.
Everybody thinks that they know it all. They know where Kool-Aid's gonna get drafted. They know where Henderson's gonna get drafted. They know where Brock Byers is gonna get drafted. They know that fucking Michael Penix Jr. is gonna be the best one in the draft. They know that Drake May is gonna suck. Like, how the fuck you guys know any of this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the people that make 100,000s, they don't even know it. Okay. And when you think about, I was with you guys. All right.
I got debated on the same subject a week ago or 2 weeks ago by a guy who was afraid to mortgage the future of this team because he doesn't like to get a quarterback. And I'm like, well, what if that guy wins you 2 Lombardis? Are you going to care then? Like, who cares about 2025 right now? We're trying to get a guy to be here longer than 2025, right?
Yeah, and it's like me and Adam. I was one of those guys that was like, "Yo, we paid Daniel Jones. Just stop being negative about him. Give him a chance." He didn't get sucked into the juice. He didn't drink the poison Gatorade. He stood out. He avoided that poison Gatorade. He moved to the island by himself. He was a lone survivor by himself. Then the refs started to come in. Then people started to, like when you go to the casino and there's no clocks, think of like Percy Jackson. You just get hypnotized and you just stay in that fucking matrix. And then all of a sudden you realize, like, holy shit, let me just escape that matrix. And there's fucking Adam on his island with the sign, like, come, I'll save you. I'll save you. People are talking about Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Caleb Williams like they do not know how to operate the pocket. Like, all three of them didn't have fucking some of the worst O-lines in college football. Like, now all three of them wasn't running for their fucking lives. Like, now all three of them has pocket awareness. Pocket awareness, light years above Daniel Jones' pocket awareness.
Here's a guy, J.J. McCarthy.
You trade up for any of those guys?
J.J. McCarthy.
Ridiculous.
J.J. McCarthy's getting badmouthed by people who aren't scouts on Twitter. They're telling me, I know about scouts. I'm like, did you go to their games? Did you go and interview J.J. McCarthy? Do you know what he was doing? Because the last time I checked, all he did was win a national title on Michigan and be a winner ever since he got there. So, yeah, that's the first step to being a quarterback is winning. So you already got one checkbox. Now the other is, can you make throws? Yes, he can. Has he made clutch plays? Yes, he can. Is he a good processor? Absolutely. What do we got? We got a guy who's a robot on the field as the starting quarterback.
Damaged fucking goods. All right, he's damaged, guys. He's damaged, and he's been damaged since year 2, and he's injury prone. He's hurt every fucking year.
I'll tell you when he got damaged.
And it's facts. All right, go ahead, Adam, and we're
going
to end the show.
Game 1 against Pittsburgh in 2020, Daniel Jones threw a red zone interception and never looked the same again. He never looked the same again after that. Coming off losing with Pat Shurmur, right? And everyone's saying in the media that he was a fumbler and all this stuff. And then game 1 against Pittsburgh, they're driving down. He throws a costly red zone interception. And to me, that's when the lights went off for him. That was it. There was no turning back. He lost his confidence right there. He doesn't throw the ball downfield. He doesn't process post snap. Okay. He doesn't bring any inspiration to the team. Everybody's body language and everybody's off-season language is not a happy one. Joe Shane, I beg you. This is my fired up speech. 20 years ago, this April, our franchise changed for the better. We got a quarterback that delivered us 2 Super Bowls because the GM, go read his book, Ernie Accorsi, had an idea, and he wanted his guy in the building. He had Kerry Collins already, but he wanted his guy in the building. He did whatever he needed to do to get that guy in here, and look where it took us. So now, 20 years ago to the day, you have the same mission, Joe Shane. Yep. Will you choose to accept it?
And let me just say this before I pass it back. Like, your job's on the line, man. And let me just name this. I'm going to name you 3 special players because I really, really feel there's a special player in this draft, okay? And yes, one just won a Super Bowl, but guess what? We just got done talking about how Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the outlier line. He doesn't have the Dallas line. He doesn't have the Philly line. He has Creed Humphreys and Tristan Wirfs that gets penalized every other play. That's it. Okay, I'm not trying to be a dick. There's some special people on that line, but it's not like you're looking at Kansas City's line and being like, damn, they're the best offensive line in the game. All right? No, it's Patrick Mahomes that gets it done. You look at Lamar Jackson and the Ravens line. You don't look at the Ravens line and be like, yeah, they have a respectable line, but they don't have a top 5 line every fucking year. They're not Dallas's line out here, okay? But look, Lamar Jackson gets it done. Joe Burrow, look at his line the year he appeared in the Super Bowl. Enough fucking said. Joe Burrow's special, and he made it happen. Getting sacked 9 times and still winning that game. So let's go spend another year on a wasted draft pick, on a wasted offensive line, when we can get a suitable candidate in the 2nd and 3rd round of the offensive line with a good coach that can actually fix the problem there. Because the last time I checked, it's not the offensive line problem, it's the coaching problem of the offensive line. That's the facts. And that's what it is. You don't get an AMG Alabama stud and then he doesn't know how to play the position. I just do not believe that. Okay. And look what happens. We have all these great offensive linemen, right? They play for us. We let them out of the building, and guess what? They're appearing on the Ravens again. You know, all our players we keep, right? and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna let go." They end up having good years on the next team. Julian Love, Pro Bowl safety. Enough said. Go right ahead, Mac.
Now, I was going to just come hit this up real quick. What Dale was talking about. If the Giants lose Barkley, Singletary could be a decent guy if Houston was to let him go. He'd be a type of guy he could add to this backfield, be a part of a committee
Oh
back
yeah.
here. Be all right with that. Another guy I think people keep forgetting about is Dalvin Cook. I think this guy's still a player. I think he still got a lot of game. He pretty much had this season off for the most part. So I think he definitely got some game. If maybe take a swing at him. If you can't bring Barkley in, I think he doesn't really have much, leverage in asking for too much money. A guy like Dalvin Cook. Another interesting name could possibly be if the Cowboys don't retain Tony Pollard. Another guy who come in potentially, do some things in this backfield, make some plays. So, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, the Giants are meeting with Saquon Barkley during the combine. I think that'll be really telling in his future with the team, which I think there is no future, honestly. If I'm speaking candidly, I'm pretty sure he played his last game for the New York Giants. That's just the way I see it. But and said one more question here. Yes, well, what do y'all think about pairing up Dunzier with Penix? The chemistry will be there at the very least. I just don't see how. I mean, it would take a lot to pull that off. I mean, even I
Like I
think
said,
I imagine how they would even pull that. How they would pull that off? They would take
you,
some serious wheeling and dealing on draft day
you're
to
at
be able to
six.
acquire both of those guys.
You're at six, and you have to how many spots? Six plus what gets to 39? 33 spots. So you have to hope that if you don't get your quarterback right, and you take Rome Dunze, right, and you decide I'm going to try to get this guy. If you don't move up to get your guy, you have to wait 33 spots to hope to land your guy with a bunch of hungry teams that need quarterbacks. You know, hungry teams. I don't know if he's going to go in the first round, but there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. Period. That have guys that are incumbents. Atlanta comes to mind. Minnesota, Denver. There's teams that are going to do the same thing you're doing. Hey, man, let me give you my first round pick next year so I can trade back in to go get Michael Penix Jr. right now in the first round. That's what they're going to do. So I'm just saying, if I have a chance to go get one at 4 or I have a chance to go get one at 39, I'm going to 4.
Yeah, I mean, like, and you might
I
even
think
need
what's
to
going
move
to
up to three
happen.
because it quarterback. The first time we've seen that since 2021. And honestly, my thoughts on Penix is I respect the kid, but I would I be happy if that combination came here? Absolutely, because teams pushed them out of the first round. But do you really want to take that chance? Like Adam said, I know he's injured every single year that he was in college football, and that kind of concerns me. So
He
that
wasn't, just
injury
2 years.
2 years, but that injury was only in the 3 years. But yeah, that injury is a concerning. So, but like Adam said, do you want to take that chance that teams are gonna be pushing him back as well? Go right ahead, Mac. Hey, I could see him at the
Michael
bottom.
Penix Jr. is getting ready.
You don't want to take that chance.
What Penix is going to do here is I don't know why we go through this every year, especially with these quarterbacks in the draft process. What's
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to happen here? We got this thing called the scouting combine coming up. You're going to have Michael Penix Jr. is going to go out there. He's going to put on an absolute show and demonstrate his immense arm talent. And he's going to shoot back up the draft boards. He's going to go out there and probably lay down an amazing pro day as well. And then just like that, Michael Penix Jr. is going to be right back up in the good graces of all the scouts, and he's going to be once again a top prospect. That the same top prospect he was heading into that national championship game, which seems to be what's all of a sudden sour people a bit on the young man. So I think he's going to go out there. He's going to do all these things, and once again, he's just going to be once again that a top prospect that probably will not get out of the first round. Like Adam said, a lot of teams need quarterbacks, and I don't really necessarily see this kid getting out of the first round. I mean, the arm talent speaks for itself.
Yeah, you got to also think about teams that has agent or bridge quarterbacks that might want to have him on roster because Mac made an awesome point in that. And Anthony Richardson, all the experts know he wasn't ready to start immediately. But what did he do? He had an amazing under Olympics and he forced himself to early round pick. And like obviously, he kicked the homie from Tennessee out of no, what is it, Tennessee? The homie that went to Tennessee, he kicked him out of the first round. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when all I'm gonna say is like this is the year of quarterbacks, and like I'm not an expert, I don't know it all, but what I do know is like we're not gonna see another year like this until 2027. Until Manning's class come out, then we're not gonna see another year like this. So it's gonna be a drought for a little bit. They're always gonna be quarterbacks, but like look at last year. Was last year the quarterbacks draft? No, absolutely not. No, sorry, the year before that. You know what I'm saying? Not last year, the year before that. It wasn't. And then you look at last year and you're like, man, all these great quarterbacks. And then you look at this year, you're like, man, even better quarterbacks. Because if Caleb Williams came out last year, Drake May and Caleb Williams is taken beyond any quarterback that was taken last year. In all due respect, we didn't know that CJ Stroud was going to do CJ Stroud things. We didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? But still, if you look at them, these are the best quarterbacks since we've seen since Andrew Luck. And these are experts saying that. That's just not me saying that. These are experts saying that. So if you look at the future, I mean, like you go trade and you go get your future. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, go right ahead, Matt. I think it's about that 2 hour mark.
Yeah, we definitely right across, right just on past the 2 hour mark. Everybody, we appreciate y'all coming out
Yeah,
to
definitely
another
could.
edition of the Premium Takes podcast, hanging out with the Horsemen on this Friday night, getting a little snow up here in the Northeast once again, a little snowstorm coming through. I'll be like Mac the Giants fan, gonna be doing some shoveling this weekend
Mm,
again, but it is
don't know
what it
nothing
is.
about that life.
Shut
Yeah, Zion, fuck you. But but anyway, nonetheless, man, we do appreciate y'all. Once again, we will be back once again next Friday night, same bat time, same bat channels, man. Make sure y'all go out, sub up to myself, Zion, Adam, the Hardcore Sports Network. Support the movement, man. This has been another edition of the Premium Takes podcast. Throw the fours up for our guy NYG Jeffy T. Always here representing, man, here in spirit with us, man. This is Mac. I'm Mac the Giants fan. That's Zion Zenith. That's Adam Costas. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.